What's up, everybody? It is Thegoal60 here for Friday, May the 11th, 2018. So today we've got a lot to talk about. I went through and did some research last night, and it was strong enough that I'm actually going to change something in the system today. So I will be talking about that later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Also, we pick up 2 more plays today, and we are watching for a line on the 3rd. So I'll just go quickly through these games because I do have a lot to talk about as far as the system. So as far as unofficial plays, we had one that became an unofficial play because of the number of games, which was the Rays at the Orioles. They were originally a 3-game series. They had to make up a game on Saturday, so that made them a 4-game series. Now right now the Rays are at .499 while the Orioles are at .437. So you look at the Rays price, and the run line price on that is -189. So obviously that's another reason to make it unofficial. Next game is Boston and Toronto. Boston is at .558 while Toronto is at .503. So you would look at Boston's price, and they're at -194. So that makes them unofficial. The White Sox at the Cubs. The White Sox are at .406, and in the bottom 3 of the RPI, while the Cubs are at .537. You look at the Cubs price, and it's huge. It's -243. So that obviously kicks them out. Next up is the Royals at .404, and in the bottom 3 as well. Against the Indians at .490. And so you look at the Indians price, and it's also up there at -244. So that kicks those out. There's 2 more unofficial, and then there's one game that we're waiting on a price. So the next unofficial play is Texas at Houston. Texas is at .489, while Houston's at .527 with a price of $259. Those 3 prices so far have been just really crazy. And finally, as a unofficial, we have San Francisco at Pittsburgh. San Francisco's had a bad week. They got swept by the Phillies in a 4-game series. They're at .510, while Pittsburgh is at .502. So it's barely enough gap that you would look at San Francisco anyways. But then you look at the price, and the run line price is at -172. So that kicks them out. So that's all the unofficial plays. Of course, I'll get more in depth on those on tomorrow and Sunday if we need it. But I just wanted to get through those pretty quick. Now, before I get into the 2 plays that we will be taking, I'll talk about the Yankees. Right now, the Yankees in Oakland is at .498, while the Yankees are the top team in baseball at .573. There is no price on that. There wasn't one put up yesterday, and this morning when I checked, I couldn't find a price on that as well. So I will be watching that, and then I'll tweet that out later when the price comes out on the Yankees. I feel like it's going to be very high, so I feel like it's going to be an unofficial play. But you never know. It may be priced just right. So I'll let everybody know that later on in the day. And just keep a watch on it. If you see it, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter and, send me a direct message or tweet it out or whatever you want to do there. But just let me know. All right. So with all of that said, that leaves us with 2 games for this weekend. I know that's a lower than usual, which is not a bad thing. And just to be honest, I've said all week that I was going to set these out. When I got to looking at all the research yesterday and talking to several people about it and everything, everybody said, just keep going. Just believe in the system, and that's the truth. That's good advice. So I'm going to do that. I am going to make some changes as far as the C bets go. But before we talk about those changes, let's talk about those 2 games that we are going to take today. It is going to be official plays. So the first one is the Mariners at the Tigers. Currently, the Mariners are at .513, while the Tigers are the worst team in baseball RPI at .399. So you look at the Mariners price, and it's at -140. So I'm going to take, that will be the first official play, is the Mariners at -140. So the second and last official play this week is the Mets at the Phillies. Now the Mets are at .517, while the Phillies are at .536. So obviously you look at the Phillies, and right now they are at -141. So right at the same price as what we got for the Mariners. So that will be the second and official play, is the Phillies -141. So that is all for the plays today. I know I went fast. I apologize about that, but I can't make too long a video. I won't be able to upload it. So I'm going to have to get into the C-bet changes right now. All right, so after last Sunday, I really was kind of bummed out because all the data that I had researched over the last year or so had shown that, we wouldn't have this many losses. Well, for whatever reason, I don't know why, maybe different factors. There's a lot of things that have kind of adjusted in baseball, but nothing really, there's not been any just huge rule change or something like that to affect all the data. So I really couldn't figure out why we had the problems that we had had. Now, we've had a ton of wins, 46 to date wins, but we've also had the 5 losses that were astronomical to our bankroll. So I got to thinking, we've got to make a change. There's got to be a way that we can knock down some of this risk on that 3rd day. So I ran a little, scenario and went through all my data for this year and looked at only this year so far into the season. And what I found was something that I really think will help us out. And that is that we keep the A and B bets the same, okay? So if obviously if we win the A bet, we're finished with that series. If we lose the A bet, we move on to the B bet where we look to win back everything we lost from day one plus what we originally wanted to win, so the original unit. Those stay the same. Those do not change at all. The change comes on the 3rd day, on that C bet day. Now, if you look at some of the numbers, I'll spit these numbers out to you, and that'll kind of give the backbone and the reason for what we're doing here. We had, between the 5 losses, I'll throw out the highest and the lowest amounts that we actually lost. The highest amount, I'll say this, the lowest amount was 9.3 units on the Padres when they played against the against the Dodgers a while back. The highest was actually the first series that we lost back when we had the Nationals that lost to the Mets. That was 16.02 units. Now, we've had a ton of wins, so I'm looking for this thing to grow. There's no reason that we can't grow. Now, when I went back and tested my theory, I'll give you those amounts now. So on the Padres, instead of losing 9.3 units, we would have lost 4.89 units. Almost half. On the Nationals, we would have lost less than half. Instead of 16.02 units, we would have lost 7.07. So that is huge numbers. Just in those 2 series, that is huge numbers. And the way that I think we need to do this, and the way I think it's going to benefit us as the season goes on, and move along with these systems, it's going to sound crazy. And the reason it's going to sound crazy is because you're guaranteeing yourself a loss. But you've got to understand that you're guaranteeing a lot less of a loss than what we were. So what we're going to do on that C bet is actually not bet it to chase everything from A and B. We're going to bet it just to win 1 unit. I went through and I checked it to see what would happen if you look to win 2 units. And the risk, and I'll say not risk, for lack of a better term, I use that a lot, but the chance there of losing more was actually greater. So with 1 unit, you did a lot better. I guess the reason for that is because we've had some bad luck on these C bets and went 3-5. If we had a winning record, if it was 5-3, maybe it would look better to go for 2 units. And that may be an adjustment that we have to do later in the season. Instead of trying to win 1 unit on that C bet, maybe we look to win 2 units. But just on the data that we've had from this year, it would make more sense to look to win 1 unit on that C bet. So, like I said, the system would go as follows. Day 1, A bet, you look to win 1 unit. If it wins, you're finished. If it loses, you move to day 2 to the B bet, where you look to win everything that you lost from day 1 plus that original unit you set out to win. At that point, if it wins in the B bet, you're finished completely. If it loses, you go to the day 3 and the C bet. This is where it changes. So instead of trying to win back everything from A and B, you are only trying to win, like day 1, you're trying to win 1 unit. Reason for that, if it hits, great. You take off a full unit of what you lost the first 2 days, which in a lot of cases would be knocking you down to 6 units instead of 9 units, things like that. If you lose, you only lost, 1 game. It'd be like betting 1 game. So that means that, yes, you may lose that 9 units, but it's a lot better than losing 15. So you see what I'm saying? It's a lot easier. The reason for this, it's a lot easier to bounce back. Nothing is going to be 100%. I don't care what you do. Unless you are in Back to the Future, where you've got that book and it shows you who won every baseball and football game for the last 100 years, and you can tell the future and then make bets on it. You cannot go 100%. So what we're trying to do here is trying to hit over 90%. Right now, we're hitting at a rate of about 85%, somewhere in that. I think it's right around that. And I know you can do the math real quick. I'm taking that off the top of my head. 46 out of 51. So that's a very good thing. We're just trying to go over that 90% mark, and when we do, we'll be fine. Now, that's the way that we're going to treat this from here to the end of the season, as far as I'm concerned. And that, hopefully we don't come across any more C-bets. It'd be wonderful, but we're going to. It's going to happen. And I think that this is going to be the better route because of exactly what I said. It mitigates the risk, and even though you are going to be guaranteeing yourself a loss as far as the overall bankroll, you've got to think about what you're losing versus what you could have lost. If we can do that with as many games as this thing plays, I think we'll be fine. I honestly do. We've won 46 series this year. That's a huge number, and that's just in a month, maybe 5 weeks or so. It is 5 weeks, because yesterday was the 35th day. So keep that in mind. Let me know what you think. I may be sounding completely crazy, but just looking at the numbers that I have, it looks like that would have been a better route. And that's what we're going to move forward with. If we have to make another adjustment, we will make another adjustment. But that's how this thing works, and that's how it kind of, evolves as we go. So like I said, let me know what you think. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to all this. I know it takes the time out of your day, and I really do enjoy it, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy it. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great Friday. We are going to be playing those two plays, the Phillies and the Mariners, and we look for those teams to win this weekend. See you tomorrow.
60% of the time, it works every time.